Hi and welcome to my channel. This is Britain's Regional Folklore. This is episode 3 and we are exploring the south of England and the counties of Berkshire, Hampshire, Oxfordshire and Wiltshire. Now this part of South England is rich in prehistoric sites. We have the Avebury stone circles, the Rollright stones, the White Horse of Wiltshire, Silbury Hill and of course the stone and wood henges. It is also the seat of King Alfred the Great, who fought valiant battles with the invading Vikings. In 878 he gained a victory against the Vikings in the Battle of Edmonton and the Danelaw was created. This was a separation of territories between the Danes and the Saxons, with the Danes occupying the north and east of England and the Saxons the southern territories. Alfred was a seasoned warrior, but he was a learned, graceful and progressive king who valued education and learning as something important to youth. He had many books translated from Latin into Anglo-Saxon and gave them to bishops of the kingdom. He collated past Saxon laws, improved them, added his own, and solidified the body of law that his successors would follow. All of Alfred's work led to his successors gaining more and more territories and, finally, uniting the kingdoms of England. No other royal in British history has ever been given the moniker Great. A legend and monument attached to Alfred is that of the Blowing Stone, a sandstone rock with bored holes located in a garden in Kingston Isle, Oxfordshire. The legend goes that the stone is an instrument used by Alfred the Great to summon his troops for the Battle of Ashdown. With some skill, a hole in the stone is blown into and will produce a loud sound that can be heard from great distances. A legend of the Blowing Stone is very similar to that of King Arthur's. If someone were to attempt to sound the stone and were able to make the stone produce a note, they will become a future royal. To begin our exploration of the folklore of the south of England, we will start with some ghost stories. Chilbolton, Hampshire. In 1393, a nun by the name of Catherine Faulkner ran away from the Benedictine Abbey of St. Cross at Wherwell. For some reason, perhaps godly guilt-tripping, she returned 7 years later only to be walled up as punishment in a nunnery that was built over by Chilbolton Rectory. From then onwards, Catherine's ghostly form has been seen mournfully gazing from a window which was then bricked up in an attempt to shoo the phantom away. But the attempt failed. She simply looked out of another window. She has been spotted by guests staying at the rectory. She has been described as being a beautiful nurse by one gentleman who saw her mournful window gazing as he lay in bed. Another woke in the middle of the night to find her beautiful form standing benignly over him, watching him while he slept. On both occasions, the rectory owner confirmed that no other guests had been present at the time of the events. Farringdon Churchyard in Berkshire is haunted by the headless ghost of Hampden Pye, an officer of the Royal Navy. His stepmother is said to have bribed his captain to have him shot in the head with a cannonball while on duty. The reason for her doing so is that she had also fathered a child with Pye's father and wanted the inheritance to go to her son only. She was, it seems, a very controlling old cow who tried to control Hampden Pye, who was, at that time, a fully grown and seasoned human being. When Hampden Pye married a girl who was beneath his breeding, this tipped the crazy woman's temper further. She harassed her poor beleaguered husband into doing something about his wayward son. They paid for him to have an impressment put upon him by a press gang. An impressment is forced naval service. This is usually put upon the homeless and the poor, but many an innocent man has been plucked from a normal day to one of a life at sea. Luckily for Pye, he is of high social standing, so he got to be lieutenant of the Navy. Most aren't so lucky. But, as with most people who have gone soft in their attics, this wasn't enough for Hampden Pye's mother-in-law. So, she is said to have paid the captain and a gunner to execute her stepson. The gunner's name was Hairy-Faced Dick, and that is exactly what he is for taking another's life. Hampden Pye's headless corpse began to appear beside his rotten stepmother as she rode around luxuriously and livingly in her horse-drawn coach. The captain and Hairy-Faced Dick also got the headless Hampden treatment. And given how he died, I imagine the ghoulish image of a corpse with a cannon-blown head is one that is quite unforgettable to its victims. However, this legend is in some dispute, and the rebuttal to this is linked in the description box, as well as a lovely ballad about Hampden Pye by the Channel Ian Bateman. Langley Borough, Wiltshire. Reginald de Cobham, a young lord of Langley Borough, was burned at the stake in 1413 for his support of John Wycliffe, who held anti-papal views. Reginald was taken to the top of Steinbrook Hill and subjected to humiliation by being stripped naked and being slowly and cruelly burned to death. If you are a brave soul who isn't afraid to witness a crispy fried apparition, take yourself to the hill at midnight and you may just see Reginald roaming abroad. Portsmouth, Hampshire. In 1776, a rebellious anti-royal Jack Aitken, also known as John the Painter, was hanged for his mercenary attacks on the dockyards at Portsmouth. He had started a fire in the rope house on the docks and had hoped to destroy the naval fleet. But like all folks who are anti-anything in history, he was caught. They hanged him from the mizzenmast, which is the third and shortest mast holding a sail on a ship. He was then gibbeted at Blockhouse Point for years to come, to warn others who would dare to rebel against the might of the Royal Navy. So, on stormy nights, if you listen carefully, you can hear the bones and chains of John rattling away at the mouth of Portsmouth Harbour. So that's part one of our exploration of the regional folklore of the south of England. In part two, we're going to be looking at the devil in Oxfordshire, because he quite likes Oxfordshire, it seems, and he gets up to quite a lot of shenanigans. So thank you for watching and listening, and I will see you in the next one. Stay safe, bye bye.